Are you drowning in things you promised to do? Do you feel like you're constantly saying yes to literally everyone but yourself? It's like you're suffocating, but quietly, right? Your own life is happening on the sidelines, squeezed between everyone else's problems. For what felt like an eternity, I thought my value was based on how much I could do for other people. I was the reliable one, the go-to guy, the friend who would never, ever let you down. But behind that smile, I was completely falling apart. This insane need to please everyone didn't just make me busy. It gave me crippling anxiety and left me totally drained. I was like a ghost in my own life. Today, I'm going to show you how one tiny two-letter word changed everything. I'm going to show you how no went from being the scariest word in the world to the one that gave me back my respect and my happiness. And I guarantee it can do the exact same thing for you. My life as a people pleaser wasn't a choice. It was a role I just fell into. It started with small things. Agreeing to plans I hated, taking on extra work because I was terrified of not being a team player, listening to a friend for hours even when my own battery was at zero. From the outside, I looked like the nicest guy ever. People praised me for being so helpful. But on the inside, I was paying a massive price. I'll never forget this one week. It was actually insane. I said yes to helping a colleague finish a project, yes to pet sitting for a neighbor, yes to 3 different social events I had zero energy for, and yes to proofreading a resume for a family member. All of this while my own deadlines and my own life were screaming for attention. I ended that week feeling completely empty. I was just sitting in my car, parked outside my own house, and I literally could not go inside because I knew more demands were waiting. And then boom, a panic attack hit. My heart was pounding out of my chest. I couldn't breathe, and I felt completely trapped. Trapped by my own stupid inability to say no. This wasn't just about being busy. It was a deep fear of being rejected. This is a pattern that usually starts when you're a kid, where you learn that being good gets you approval. For me, yes was a shield. It was my defense against disappointing anyone. The thought of letting someone down was terrifying. But here's the crazy part. While I was desperately trying to please everyone else, the one person I was always failing was myself. My relationships started to feel fake, and the stress was 24/7. This people-pleasing habit is one of the biggest, most ignored causes of chronic anxiety and burnout. It's not just being nice. For a lot of us, it's a survival tactic rooted in low self-esteem. So, how do we break this insane cycle? First, you have to understand the why behind it. Why is it so ridiculously hard to just say no? It's way more than just being nice. It's a complex trap inside your own brain. One of the biggest reasons is the powerful link between saying yes and your self-worth. A lot of us feel like we have to earn our spot in someone's life by being useful. Every time you think about saying no, your brain can see it as a risk of being abandoned, which triggers a primal fear. This creates a dangerous chemical cycle in your body. When you please someone, your brain gives you a quick hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, which gives you a temporary boost. But the constant fear of disapproval keeps your body flooded with cortisol, the stress hormone. This isn't just in your head. This chronic stress leads to burnout, exhaustion, and even physical sickness. And then there's the slow poison, resentment. When you constantly say yes when you really want to say no, you're not being genuinely kind. You're performing. You start to feel like you're being used, and this quiet anger builds toward the very people you're trying so hard to please. This doesn't build good relationships, it destroys them. All right, let's get into it. How do we actually start saying no and take our lives back? This isn't about becoming a cold, selfish person. It's about learning to be honest and respectful to others, but more importantly, to yourself. Here are the 3 steps that literally changed my entire life. Step 1. Reframe your no. First, you have to completely change your mindset. No is not a bad word. It's not you rejecting a person. It is simply you declaring your own limits. Think of it like this. When you say no to something you don't have energy for, you are screaming yes to something that matters more: your well-being, your goals, and your mental health. Saying no is an incredible act of self-respect. It's you telling yourself that you matter. The guilt you feel at first is just a side effect of breaking a lifelong habit. Step 2. Master the phrases. Knowing what to say is a complete game changer. Having a few of these phrases ready will stop you from panicking and just saying yes. The gentle, honest no. Thank you so much for thinking of me for this. Unfortunately, I just don't have the capacity to take that on right now. The by time no. Let me check my calendar and get back to you. This is an amazing trick. It stops the immediate pressure and gives you space to actually decide if you want to do it. The alternative no. I can't help with that this week, but I could help with a smaller, easier task next week. This shows you still want to help, but on your own terms. The sandwich no. I really appreciate you trusting me with this. However, I won't be able to give it the attention it deserves right now. I'm excited to see how it turns out. The direct, simple no, and sometimes the most powerful phrase is simply, no, I can't. You don't always owe anyone a huge explanation. If any of these phrases seem like something you could use, do me a favor and destroy that like button. It lets me know this is the kind of practical advice that helps, and it tells YouTube that other people struggling with this deserve to see this video, too. Step 3. Process the guilt. When you first start saying no, the guilt is going to hit you like a truck. It will feel super uncomfortable. You might even get anxious. That is 100% normal. You are using a muscle you've probably never used. The key is to just sit with that feeling without beating yourself up. Remind yourself why you set the boundary. You have not done anything wrong. You are not responsible for how other people feel about your boundaries. The long-term reward of self-respect and better mental health is so much bigger than the temporary discomfort of that guilt. Saying no wasn't an overnight fix. It was a slow, deliberate grind of choosing myself, one small decision at a time. The first time I said a firm but kind no to a small request at work, my heart was pounding. I was positive I had just destroyed a professional relationship. But the world didn't end. In fact, the person just said, "Okay, thanks for letting me know." It was an absolute revelation. Slowly, my life started to change in massive ways. That chronic, low-level anxiety that was always with me started to fade away. My relationships got better in ways I never could have predicted. Because I wasn't showing up just because I felt obligated, the time I spent with people was more real. Most importantly, my self-esteem, which for years was based on other people's opinions, finally started to grow from within. Each no was a small act of self-love, proving that my needs were important. Life wasn't just happening to me anymore. I was finally in the driver's seat. The art of saying no isn't about building walls. It's about drawing lines in the sand. It's about understanding that your resources, your time, your energy, your emotions are limited and they are incredibly valuable. It is not selfish to protect them. It is absolutely essential self-care. Saying no gave me the space to finally say yes to myself, yes to rest, yes to my passions, and yes to a happier, more authentic life. It allowed me to go from someone crippled by anxiety to someone who lives with real self-respect. So, I want to leave you with this one last challenge. What is one small no you can say this week to say yes to yourself? Share it in the comments below. Let's create a community of people who are taking their lives back, one brave no at a time. Thanks for watching.